Salutations, respect, and love. No, you don't got the wrong channel. I just got a cold head tonight, so I had to put my hat on. Anyways, just having fun. You're here at Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So on with the show, as they say. A little bit late, but got home late. Lots of stuff going on today. Didn't have time to kind of get myself together. So it's going to be a little bit late, but better late than never, right? So we're here with the ranking of the albums. This is the first of two semifinals. So Ben has put these two semifinals together and given them to me, and I've listened to them. I listened to the albums today as I had time to do so. And there's the four that we're doing today are Samson's Shock Tactics, Fish's Virgil in the Wilderness, Virgil in the Wilderness of Mirrors, sorry, I almost was going to say it the other way around, David Greenslade's Cactus Choir, and Bill Ward's One Ward Along the Way, So anyways, or Ward 1 along the way, not one ward, Ward 1 along the way. So what I'm going to do is what I've always been doing so far throughout this series is I will talk about the albums and then give you my rankings at the end. So we'll start by talking about Samson, Shock Tales. This is a heavy album. I wouldn't call it a heavy metal album though. I guess it's got some elements of that, but I don't necessarily. If I didn't know it was Bruce Dickinson, which would be hard to do because the voice is perfect for him, it's his voice, so why wouldn't it be? I wouldn't call this heavy metal. I would say it's a hard rock album. It's got some nice catchy riffs, and of course his voice is fantastic as it is on just about everything he does. I like this album. It's got a lot of stuff on here that if I wasn't listening to it through Google and YouTube, I probably would like it more, but because I'm listening to it on that venue, it's not as clear as it probably would be anywhere else. Ben pointed out to me that maybe that's part of the reason why some of these albums haven't jumped up for me, and to be honest, I had already considered it and thought that that's a possibility of what it is, but we still got to do it. So anyways, that's the first of the four albums. The next one is that Fish's Virgil in the Wilderness of Mirrors, also just known as Virgil. This is a kind of a poppy album, I think. It's got some. It does have a little bit of progginess to it, but not nearly as much as you got with Marillion. And Marillion, to me, although they are proggy, they had some proggy stuff. They also have a little bit of that poppy stuff, but much more poppy stuff here. But still, really good voice, good lyrics, some catchy moments. I wouldn't say to myself that this is the most catchy of albums, but it's a decent album. A little bit more of that love theme and stuff going on, which I've never really been a big fan of from prog bands or people who were with prog bands or people who have been thought of as prog people, but still not bad. The third album, of course, David Greenslade's Cactus Choir. Right off the bat, it has a fantastic album. Actually, the other two albums were good covers too, but this one has a fantastic cover done by none other than Roger Dean, but a great cover as it has that same kind of Greenslade feel to it that you get off the Greenslade albums. Not surprising that it's a David Greenslade solo album, but definitely has that feel. There's a little bit more of him in this, I think, because you're getting that keyboard dominated part, which you also get on Greenslade, but he's playing a dominant role here. I think the vocals are probably better on this than the Greenslade albums as well. Very catchy. Overall a catchy album, but also very proggy, very Greenslade-like. There's nothing more I can say about it other than I liked it quite a bit. I actually think I might actually like this more than the Greenslade albums. So anyway, so it's that's the third one. The fourth album, of course, is Bill Ward's Ward 1 Along the Way. So this is I think this is the first solo album by him, if I'm correct. Tons of musicians on the album, of course. It's pretty clear to me, and when you listen to it, that different vocalists on a lot of the songs, including, I'm sure Ozzy is on this album. I'm sure that somebody will tell me that that's the case. I didn't look up any of this because I like to concentrate on the music and not worry about who's singing or doing anything at that point in time. But it's a solid album. I would say it's more in the hard rock. I wouldn't call this a heavy metal album. It's a hard rock with actually some prog elements to it. I think there's a little bit of that progginess going on here, and a little bit of odds and ends and weird stuff going on as well. But a great album. I think it's a very good album, and this is going to be the tightest of the 4 album rankings of any of the ones I've done in this particular series. All 4 of these albums are really tight. The number 4 album is a little bit weaker than the other 3, and actually really was easily the easy one to put in 4th spot, and that's Fish's Virgil in the Wilderness of Mirrors, or Virgil if you prefer. I think this album, although it's a good album, I don't think it is quite in the same plateau as the other 3, so that's going to be my number 4. My number 3 album, lost out by a hair. I almost put this, as I was listening to it, I almost put this into the 2nd spot. But then I thought about the other album for a little bit, and I thought about this one for a little bit, and I just decided the other album is a little bit more to my liking. So this is Bill Ward's Ward 1 Along the Way, coming in at 3rd. Heavy album, of course, but I just think it's just a little bit less than the 2nd place album, and the 2nd place album is a tiny bit less than the 1st place album. So the 2nd place album is going to go to Samson's Shock Tactics. This is a really good album, and this was the only one of the 4. The other 3 kind of scored around the same amount of, and I felt was the same, but this one I thought was better than it was originally, but it just wasn't quite enough to win it. But an excellent album, Samson's Shock Tales. So number 2. Number 1, of course, that leaves David Greenslade, Cactus Choir. I liked this a lot initially. I liked it almost as much this time around. It didn't move up the ladder as much as Samson did, but it was a little bit better of an album, I think, overall. So I'm going to give it to it by a hair. So for those of you who are scoring, we got David Greenslade's Cactus Choir going at number 1. Samson Shock Tales at number 2. Bill Ward's Ward 1 Along the Way, number 3. And then finally at the bottom is Fish's Virgil, or Virgil in the Wilderness of Mirrors. So that's the rankings for today. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. It was fun to do. We have one more semifinals to go next week, and then we'll have the finals. Coming up, of course, I have a couple more episodes to do for the week before we start the next week. Tomorrow night we have What's New, which I have some good solid album to do, and we are also going to do, of course, a one-off tomorrow, which I will do in the afternoon before I go out, and then come back and do the other one. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Please hit the like and subscribe. It's much appreciated. My head is now nice and toasty, and I'm not blinding you from the light above as well, which is very important. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, and any comments about any of the albums or anything you want to add to the video, or maybe correct something, that's fine too. All that stuff's open, so please don't forget to make those in the comment section below, and we will see you next Friday for the 2nd episode of the semifinals for ranking the albums. We'll see you then. Take care and have a good night. Bye.